Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And here it is, a Thursday at high noon here inside the SWBC podcast studio at the beautiful Star in Frisco on a beautiful day for football and to have football players out on a football field getting set for the Washington Commanders. 3:25 Dallas time on Sunday. Carpe Omnia, seize everything. The NFC East is there for the taking.
You're taking Latin now?
That's the team slogan, Everson.
It's still Latin.
Where have you been?
It's still Latin.
They presented that at the beginning of the season.
It's on every T-shirt.
Been in second place.
I have not seen, Chris. On every T-shirt, is it?
Every T-shirt.
I did not know that. Did not know that.
Got sweatsshirts that
And
have
here
it.
we
thought
go.
everything was
Most
here we
all
go.
the season.
I thought everything was
no,
here
that
we
was
go.
what we were trying to get going. And,
Didn't work.
that's going to happen for the postseason.
I say it around the house
Here we
all the
go.
time, me and my daughter.
I just figured out.
What do
that
you say?
Here we go.
And then my dog goes,
I've trained my dog.
right?
When I say here we go, it means time to go in.
Yeah, that's what I
good.
thought was on every
Does
T-shirt.
he bark it?
Huh?
That
Does
is
he
on every
barks it?
T-shirt right now, too.
I say it and he responds. It's like time to go. Let's go.
What's your dog's name?
Well, we inherited. It's Coco.
Coco.
Oh, okay, that's cute.
Coco.
It's a girl.
Here we go, Coco.
It's a girl.
Boy.
Oh, boy.
Okay. All right.
Kind of a feminine name for a dog.
We inherited
Boy, dog.
after.
You know, I had a beagle named Romo. He passed away right before the season. He did.
This season.
Aw,
His name-
Romo died?
Yeah, Romo, Bo and Romo, two beagles, and Romo.
When did Romo die?
It was this summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because you did talk about him last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I used to
you talked
see
about
Bo
both.
and Romo on the
This-
live stream.
This is how
Talked
old.
about him during COVID, Coco. During COVID, right? Because he always had to go out of the room and take care of
Oh
him.
yeah, because they'd be barking during.
barking.
We were doing our Zooms in or whatever you
So,
call it.
Bill, you need another beagle named Dak now, correct?
Well, and that shows how old Bo and Romo. Well, Bo's still alive, barely.
My dog's name is Marley, and I thought it was after the movie Marley. And my son named it, but he said no, after Bob Marley.
Oh, that's good.
Interesting.
That's great. I love that.
Bo and Romo were born in 2007, and so 16. Or Bo just turned 16, and Romo didn't make it to 16. But
We had one named Dantley.
Adrian Dantley.
AD?
We got him the year he was supposed to come to the Mavericks, and he didn't. He didn't show up for the trade, or he didn't want to come. So we said we'll have the only Dantley in town, and then I think
That's good.
he showed up.
He changed his name to Aguirre.
Yeah, right.
All right,
All right,
digress
dog
right
talk.
off the
Back to the
top.
news.
All right, and we have
We
football
got
players
lots.
on a football field, and we've got football officials on a football field too. I was just thinking when I saw the officials out there, you know, Mickey, you need to someday do a story, be dressed up in an officials
And go out there?
and go out there and work a practice and just see exactly how hard it is to identify a tackle eligible.
I'm going to go out there in a uniform one
Well,
day.
they just want
I may need you. Where they're adding players to the practice squad, I figure Everson may show up on
I'm
the
just going
practice
to
squad
go
soon.
out there. I didn't say practice.
Oh, okay.
Just go out there. Yeah.
$12,000 though for a week.
Yeah, if they let me just stand. I'll do
Well,
that.
Is it 12,000 for a week?
That's what it's moved up to.
Speaking of the practice squad, the two latest additions, Lyle Collins and Damian Wilson.
It's official now.
It is official.
There
Mike McCarthy addressed it at last today in the press conference.
There was some negotiating going on apparently with Lyle Collins.
No, they had to figure out who they were going to cut, and they wanted to pay the practice squad guys
Oh, that's nice.
because they've been here
Yeah.
almost all this time, and to drop them the last week. So McCarthy, he has a hard time doing that. I think.
Do they get paid by the practice? Like if those were if the ones who were let go today were at practice yesterday, does that count for a full week?
That's why they waited.
Oh, I like that. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Looked like
Happy for Adam Pankey.
Lel Collins.
Hanky-panky.
Hanky-panky, right? See, we didn't even know he was on the darn practice squad till yesterday.
Yeah, it took
You
us a while to
brought
figure
this
that
up.
one
I
out.
know.
This is on you, right?
See? And they let the other guy go, Billy Johnson, right? Tyron Billy
No
Johnson.
relation to White Shoes.
The speedy.
Definitely no.
He would have been on Micah Parsons' 4x100 relay team.
Billy White Shoes Johnson would for sure.
Yeah, but Billy Johnson.
Yeah, that's
also. I believe it was Lale. I think he had number 72 on when he walked out, and he looked. I mean, physically, he looked like
he stayed in some shape or whatever.
yeah, or got himself. In
Lyle
shape.
Lyle Collins 72, and then Damian Wilson is 45.
Now he looked bigger, but then the last time I saw him was 4 years ago, maybe something like that.
Damian did.
Damian, yeah. But they're going to practice today. McCarthy and the two guys, so it's basically Wilson and Collins, and then kind of see where they're at from a, language or whatever. I think Lale probably has that down. I asked Mike about.
You mean terminology?
Yeah, terminology.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. I asked him about
Translate for us, Everson.
ramp up.
Football talk.
See, he knew what I was talking about. How long the ramp up would be, and he said we'll see after they practice today. So they'll have a better idea of maybe how much practice those guys need, since Lale hadn't had a football practice since last January.
Lyle Collins does not want to get his number 71 from Chuma Edoga.
I don't know that you want to step in this late in the season and big time them, right, and say, well, I got more experience than you do.
Well, they used to offer things.
But that was at the beginning of the year, right?
They like when they first got here in the off-season.
Do you remember the 89? Was it 89? It was 89 when Steve Walsh got here.
What happened?
So Mike Saxon was the punter, and he had number 4. And Steve Walsh, who's going to be the backup quarterback, had number 4 at Miami. And so there was some negotiations going on, and Saxon, when somebody asked Saxon about it, and he said, well, yeah, we'll see how much the rookie has, meaning money, right? So somebody mentioned it to Jimmy as we were walking, the long walk off the practice field in Thousand Oaks, and Saxon had screwed up a punt that practice, right? And somebody asked Jimmy, he said, well, what do you think about Saxon wanting money from Steve Walsh for his number? And Jimmy goes, well, he better worry about punting or he won't have a number.
And you never heard from Saxon again.
Well, he remained there for at least a year.
He stayed with the Cowboys through the 92 season.
Yeah.
But he never talked again.
Yeah.
That's my point.
That was hard for Saxon not to talk.
Not around Jimmy. He would not talk again.
Yeah. Saxon had some Everson.
Speaking of,
yes.
Do we ever talk about, I would like to know, do you think we have the best 2 kickers?
Yes,
in the NFL,
from a statistical standpoint,
you know
and effectiveness.
You know what Everson just did? He just teed up the Pro Bowl team.
Yeah,
he didn't even
did.
realize he did it.
Our 7 Pro Bowl guys.
Okay, all right.
Let's do it. Let's go through it.
I did that on purpose. Yeah.
All right, let me pull this up.
Everson, did you know the Pro Bowl team was announced last night?
I did, sure.
Just teed it up, right? And 2 special teamers are Pro Bowlers.
Hey, Spags, help me with the whole
all right.
Sacks story. Go ahead.
Here are our 2023 Dallas Cowboys Pro Bowl players: Zach Martin, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, Brian Anger, Brandon Aubrey, and Deron Bland.
Wow. Okay.
7.
No D-Law.
No D-Law.
Yeah.
You got to get more sacks.
You got to stop more short yardage on the goal line.
Or get away with tripping somebody.
Right.
Because Hutchinson made it, by the way. So you asked about Anger. He leads the league with a 44.9 net average. And if he keeps it at that this game, he'll reset his Cowboys franchise record.
When you say net, how
Meaning
important is that?
Average against return.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's huge. You can kick longer,
Right.
But it's his effectiveness that's important.
And he is his just gross average is second at 51.4. So his punts average 51.4.
They don't return.
So they're not returning.
And the
not
guy who's
returnable.
first is a Tennessee punter, I think, Stonehouse.
Stonehouse, yes.
See, he's got farther to punt every time he punts
So
because
he can-
their
they
offense
don't
doesn't
drive.
move
They
the
don't
ball,
drive,
and so
right.
he's punting from his own end of the
And
field a
so
lot.
there's always room to
There's
return.
more room,
Right.
yeah, that's more room to kick it. So.
Yeah.
And he's
Now
got,
I just love. Go ahead. I'm
and
sorry.
I was going to say, and he has 10 touchbacks. Anger only has 2.
That's the other thing.
That's one thing I see when we are unsuccessful on a drive, we go 1, 2, 3 out, and he saves us.
He turns the field
He
over.
turns the field position.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me. And that comfort zone there for the defense, it kind of gives you a chance to go, okay, well, we screwed up offensively, and we realize the consequences of that in certain times of the game. He kicks us out of consequences.
Nothing will help your net punting more than not kick it into the end zone.
Yeah.
Because you just
Yeah.
subtracted 20 yards off that punt.
No doubt.
And I think that goes to show you that probably the voters from the players and coaching staff, they looked at the stats.
They got to see it.
And they saw it.
They got. If they watch the game, they'd be
I mean,
more
that's
impressed.
that's pretty impressive.
It is.
And he's only kicked 2 out of bounds also. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. No shanking.
24 returns out of 44 kicks. So the coverage team helps out too.
Oh, no doubt.
Right?
Big Sam. Big Sam.
Big Sam.
Big
As long as he
Sam.
doesn't
Big
run into
Sam.
somebody.
Yeah, do they take penalty yardage off the net? I'm joking.
I don't see that on here.
Like if you interfere with the punt returner. Okay.
Speaking of votes from coaches and players, we also have another player that we want to highlight today, Jordan Lewis. He's been named the Ed Block Courage Award winner, which is incredible.
Nominee for the Cowboys.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
nominee
Nice.
for the Cowboys. So all 32 teams will have a nominee for this, and
So I
Jordan's well deserving.
I wonder if the block. It's all about coming back, right?
Coming back from an injury.
The
yeah.
Courage
So,
Award.
He's got to come back and play well.
Right.
Right. I mean, not just that he came back from something maybe horrific or whatever. He come back. He's playing well. He's playing extremely well.
Especially the last few weeks between Jordan Lewis and Donovan Wilson. I think Donovan Wilson kind of got back to
Yes,
where
he
he
did.
was before
Yes, he
his
did.
injury.
He was getting roasted in this room. I know that much, and by yours truly.
And now he's making tackles like he was making tackles.
Exactly.
He's making plays.
He's in position
Yeah.
much better. He's
that was
not,
a hell of an interception, by the
it was.
way.
He's not reacting.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about his play. All of our secondary was reacting, and it had a lot to do with the fact that they were physically outmatched by a lot of,
I think
offensive linemen.
maybe the only other player that somewhat slighted, I thought Tyler Smith had a really, really good season, but they weren't going to vote the Cowboys 2 of the 3 guards on the Pro Bowl team. Right.
And by the way, for Zach Martin, it's now his 9th Pro Bowl, and that ties him with the great Randy White, number 5 all-time for the Cowboys with 9 Pro Bowl selections. One behind Larry Allen, who had 10 in his career.
What about Rayfield Wright?
Rayfield didn't.
I think he only had 6.
Wow.
And the only reason I think I remember that is Nate Newton had 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to say, everybody just thinks Nate was this kind of gregarious guy.
Right, just going
cut-up
around
guy.
making jokes, yeah.
6 Pro Bowls.
6 Pro
Waiting
Bowls.
for the text message.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, he's not just from Frisco. Yeah,
Nate and Frisco, I think his
He's from
favorite
6 Pro
player
Bowls.
was the 6-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton. Yeah.
I believe you could be correct.
You want me to
Once
find
upon a
that for you?
time, I used to be able to pick up a media guide and immediately find where the Pro Bowl players
trying to
are.
help 'em out.
And now
We'll take your word for that,
because
Bill.
because
We'll
I
take
go
your word for that, Bill.
online instead of actually picking up the media guide and doing it. It takes me a little longer to do it.
I used to know
All-time Pro Bowl
I used to know
selections.
every phone number by heart until cell
Right, now
phones
you
came
don't know
along.
your own
Now,
phone
that's
number.
right.
Okay, Bob Lilly had 11 in his career. Jason Witten, 11 Pro Bowl selections. That's tied for the tops in the Cowboys' history. Larry Allen and Mel Renfro
was
with
gonna say
10
Mel,
each.
yeah.
And now Zach Martin joins Randy White, tied for 5th with 9 apiece. Emmitt Smith and Tyron Smith with 8 apiece. DeMarcus Ware with 7, Troy Aikman with 6, as well as Cliff Harris, Chuck Halley, Nate in Frisco, John Nyland, Don Perkins, Roger Staubach, and Rayfield Wright. So there's your 6 and above Pro Bowlers.
Nice.
So
Dak Prescott's the backup quarterback
To Purdy.
to Purdy. What do you think about that?
well, they're talking MVP race, and most people have Brock Purdy ahead of Dak on that. So
They got Lamar ahead of everyone.
I would think so. Mm-hmm. It's funny how quarterbacks that can add to their play by running the football are thought of more than just the guys throwing the ball. Mm-hmm. Sort of what happened with the Heisman Trophy voting. I'm going to go back that again.
For the
Yeah, I
third
know.
time.
That guy's good.
I got to say, the guy that you're talking about is good as well.
Yes.
Daniels is very good player. I mean, I can't say since Vince Young even, a guy that could run, be effective running and passing the ball the way he is.
Right.
And oh my God, just to watch him run, he looks like a gazelle running around out there. And his passes are pretty good, Spags. So you can't, I wouldn't say that, there's a clear difference in either one. I'd say he does both of them very well.
So speaking of Dak, he's leading the league right now with 32 touchdown passes. And this came up in the press conference that if he keeps that league, he'll be the first Cowboy quarterback to lead the league in touchdown passes. I'll have to double check that, but that's what was pointed out. And then Mike McCarthy piped in and said, yeah, but the biggest stat that I look at is percentage of interceptions. Mm-hmm. And he's at 1.4, which is third in the
interception
league.
percentage, yeah.
Third.
And he said that to him, anytime it's 1.7 or less, that's having a really, really good season.
Mm-hmm. Which was the goal coming into the season.
So, believe it or not, but Kirk Cousins has thrown like more than 250 passes less. His interception percentage is 1.6, and Lamar Jackson is at 1.5. So those are the only.
Did we talk about the fact that the Cowboys only have one most valuable player in NFL history? Is that correct?
I think we did talk about something
We
like
did
that.
talk because Emmitt's the only one, right?
For the season.
For the season, of course.
I think that is accurate.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. I don't know. It just seems like, I guess because I'm a homer.
Well, think about it, though. Landry didn't overly throw the football for the quarterbacks, right? I mean, if you look at Staubach's numbers, Danny White's now Danny White has some big seasons, but I think from a quarterback standpoint, that Ward wasn't just going to quarterbacks back then the way it somewhat is right now.
You mean like a running back, like a Tony Dorsett?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we can touch this in any different way, to where I would say it's an unusual, distinction.
Walter Payton was probably getting in the way of Dorsett.
I'm sure he was, and Riggins and all of those guys.
Yeah.
But man, I'm sure Tony had 1981, maybe his best year.
Well, okay, Peyton won it in 77, which was Dorsett's rookie year.
Of course.
And he didn't. Tony didn't start until whatever.
That was sort of like Everson. They didn't figure it out.
They didn't figure it out for a while, yeah.
So just going back in
Tom's
Dorsett's,
so smart, but he can't see it.
going back in Dorsett's heyday, okay, you had Peyton in 77, Bradshaw in 78, Earl Campbell in 79, Brian Sipe in 80, Ken Anderson, kicker from Washington, no less, in 1982, Mark Mosley.
Wait, who was 81?
81 was Ken Anderson.
Over Tony Dorsett.
Ken Anderson, the Bengals quarterback. Mosley, the kicker in 82. That was the shortened season, so no one had enough stats.
I had freaking 7 picks in 9 games that season. Come on, man.
Dorsett had 1,600 yards
I was
year,
there.
81.
And it was amazing. He was Michael Jordan. And he should have gotten it that year.
But he only had 4 touchdowns. He must have got it to the goal line close because Springs had 10.
Springs had 70-plus catches, I think.
That was like Michael getting the ball to the goal line for Emmett to score the touchdown.
Right.
So then Theismann won it in 83, Marino in 84, Marcus Allen in 85, and Lawrence Taylor in 86.
So now you go to the Jimmy Johnson era, you would think that Troy or Emmett would win it.
Unfortunately, they judged it on passing yards more so than anything else.
Emmett,
here comes
and
Nate
Emmett is the
Frisco.
only player in NFL history
Pro Bowler.
to win the MVP award and miss the first 2 games of the season. I just made that up, but it's probably true.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Well, I think he might have been the first to win both in the same year.
He won everything that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to Nate blocking,
Yeah, he is.
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
6-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton, as a matter of fact.
The one from Frisco.
And
that
it
day.
is
Yeah.
12-22 already.
What?
Wow, it is. Man, we had so much fun talking NFL Pro Bowlers, Cowboys Pro Bowlers.
Congratulations, guys.
And we continue with more Mick Shots in a moment.
Back to Mick Shots.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Did you know that responding to one spam call can lead to more? Or that the IRS would never ask for your social security number on the phone? Beat scammers at their own game by subscribing to AARP Fraud Watch Network alerts and texts. At aarp.org/beatscammerstx, you can sign up to receive information that helps you recognize and avoid the latest scams. That's aarp.org/beatscammerstx.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys. Playoffs are on my mind, you guys. And Mickey and I were upstairs before the press conference chit-chatting a little bit about the playoffs. So I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
If the Cowboys end up being the second seed and we have a home game at AT&T Stadium, who would you rather play? The Green Bay Packers or the Seattle Seahawks at home?
I thought you were going to add another team in there. And I know who I do not want to play. And it's the Packers and the Seahawks are not that team. The Rams are who I do not want to play.
Okay.
But
They, I think, would have to lose to drop to the third wild card game, right?
which is
and San Francisco has nothing to play
Nothing.
for.
and the Rams aren't playing their players either. So it's a preseason game.
Right.
So they got Carson
Okay,
Wentz
so
going at
throw all
quarterback.
three of them in.
Okay, yeah. So we'll throw in the Rams.
And so the Rams are my team that I do not want to play
Why?
because they're hot right now. They got a veteran quarterback, and when the Cowboys beat them in October, they didn't have Kyron Williams, their running back, and it's just the way you look at the Rams and what they've done the last 6 weeks or so. I think their only loss was to the Ravens, and it was on a punt return, 37-31. That's not a team I don't think anyone wants to play in the first round.
I'm just going my old philosophy of, playing a team too many times in the season. I don't want to play Seattle again.
Yeah, we saw that movie.
Yeah.
And it was 41-35.
Yeah.
So bring on Green Bay.
Yeah.
And Green Bay at 8-8, they clinch a playoff berth. If it's very simple, all they have to do is win.
Mm-hmm.
They
Who are they playing?
Beat the
Bears.
And the Bears are playing well.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, division rivalry too. So
Seattle,
Arizona.
Seattle can clinch if they win and Green Bay loses.
So
Seattle's
Seattle
playing
plays
at Arizona. is that
Kyler
right?
Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kyler he's a little thirsty right now.
He just beat Philadelphia and take care of Seattle
You
too.
saw how he came out.
And then
That was the old Kyler Murray right there.
That really was.
Yeah.
the Saints are a little more complicated. They have to win, and they need a Seattle loss and a Green Bay loss. Wouldn't mind playing the Saints.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't.
I'll take.
I don't want to dismiss him, but I wouldn't.
What I don't want-
I wouldn't be as nervous about.
What
that
I
game.
don't want is if the Cowboys lose, and then they're the fifth seed, and if the Saints win the NFC
And Tampa Bay
South,
has to lose to Carolina.
right, then you have to go to
New Orleans.
Man, I'd love that. Go see my friends.
It's all about it.
I was talking about
Everton's cool.
having to play in the
I figure out my
Superdome,
travel
right?
plans for the playoffs. Come on.
I'm going to start looking up flights after this.
So
What about you, Savannah? What do you think?
I like Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think taking on Green Bay at home.
You would like
Would
You're
be
good with
great.
that. Good.
bring back Mike's old team. Mm-hmm. Pretty good story.
Yeah, that's what I would
That'd
like.
be
Yeah.
great. A great
That would
story.
be a great story.
See, that's what it needs to be. Green Bay coming here, Mike's old team, and then Matthew Stafford and the Rams go to
Yes.
the Lions
That one's got to happen.
against Jared Goff, the former Rams
So
quarterback.
what's the possibilities?
That's a
That's a possible.
likelihood, right?
That's a
Because
likelihood.
if the Rams
very
win,
Cowboys win, Detroit's the third seed.
and if the Rams win, they're the sixth
Sixth seed.
and so they would play each other at Detroit.
I wonder if they'd put up more billboards for that one,
Yeah, they would.
Savannah.
Oh, the billboards? So good. Did you guys enjoy that today?
Oh yeah,
Text?
so tell us about it.
On Sports Center, I believe. Yes, Sports Center, someone was posting pictures that in Detroit, in the city, someone is putting up billboards of Decker reported and cross out 11 and 5 and put 12 and 4. It's on billboards all over the city. So
Oh, they're not giving
they're
up.
a little upset up there in Detroit, obviously.
I think it was Channel 4 picked up a TV station in Detroit. Some guy was going out on man on the street and interviewing fans that are pissed off about that the darn Lions got screwed.
Hey, let me tell you, they screwed themselves.
Right.
The coach screwed them himself.
They're still not really.
They can
and
talk all the trash
Decker
they
is
want.
continuing to say he reported. So, okay, if you reported, he didn't say it.
And once again, okay, you got to mitigate your losses here. You see where all this chaos was going on. Just kick the damn extra point, man. And then let's go into overtime. Did you have a flight to catch? You know, it wasn't chartered, was it? Didn't they have a private plane? Give me a break. Just make the play. Just kick the field goal, and you have momentum. You have all this confidence in your team.
Right.
Let's go.
Especially after the penalty.
After the penalty.
After the second one,
When
absolutely.
you're now doing it you're trying from the 7-yard line.
Come on, man.
Kicked on the second one.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. That's on him. And once again, I believe he knew better once all the information came out, the accurate information.
That's why he didn't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk
at
about
next
it. I
press
don't want to talk
conference.
about this anymore. Yeah, I already showed my butt last night, so I don't want to do it again today.
And I can't believe Skipper's trying to say he didn't report in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
The guy
you can
doing
see
this?
doing this
Yeah.
as he's running on the field.
His arms flailing all over the place.
Well, you know what? Maybe he didn't do this, but he was trying to act as if he was doing this.
Exactly.
Right.
You see?
Right.
So they're too
Deception.
cute for me. They're too cute for me. You're not that slick, man. You're not that
their
slick.
deception bit him in the
It
butt.
bit him in the butt. That's some stuff that we would do. That's why we know what it looks like. We've done it. We've shot ourselves in the foot in many games.
All right. Mickey's got a newspaper out over there.
I know, man.
No,
It's
that
crazy.
was all the
He's got coffee
But
stains.
it's on the
He's
newspaper.
got coffee stains. You know, that's old school stuff.
I'm proud of it.
It's been a long time since I've
Hey,
seen one of
he
those.
had
Folded
it
a certain
hot,
way,
ready to
have
go. I mean, was your iPad still loading?
Oh,
Come on, Bill.
Loaded. It's loaded.
shot taken.
So you've already found what you were going to look for in the newspaper?
Yeah, I had the contingency plans for Seattle, Green Bay.
I thought you were going to challenge me here on it. I've got it right here.
Well, you took
But he-
all
but
day
he-
after I did it.
He's picking the subject. See, that's the problem.
I would have to sign on to this thing, and it would take 3 times to sign in to get to that page of the morning news.
So he gave up. You gave up on the laptop?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we continue. I've got a question about the Washington Commanders when we come back, and it has to do with the quarterback of the Washington Commanders when we come back here on Mick Shots.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Did you know that responding to one spam call can lead to more? Or that the IRS would never ask for your social security number on the phone? Beat scammers at their own game by subscribing to AARP Fraud Watch Network alerts and texts. At aarp.org/beatscammerstx, you can sign up to receive information that helps you recognize and avoid the latest scams. That's aarp.org/beatscammerstx.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
DeMarcus Lawrence is the Dallas Cowboys nominee for the 2023 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide. Help Tank raise funds for Dak Prescott's Faith Fight Finish Foundation by casting your vote on NFL.com/Man of the Year, or tweet your support using the hashtag WPMOY Challenge. Voting ends on January 8th. Vote for Tank.
Okay, Cowboys, Commanders, 3:25 Dallas time on Sunday. What is it as you face a Washington team that's lost 7 straight games? They're sitting there at 4-12 in all likelihood. Ron Rivera is going to be let go starting next week, and sounds like that's the tenor of things in Washington with new ownership and so forth.
And for sure, if they beat the Cowboys, he'll be let go because that would screw them out of the second pick in the draft.
So if you're Mike McCarthy, what are you emphasizing not only to your players but to your coaching staff this week? What's the message to take care of business against Washington? What
One
needs to be
factor in the game?
I mean, no. What is it that he needs to stress this week more than anything?
Well, number one, don't take Washington for granted. We can start there.
Well, yesterday he said, expect the unexpected, and then today said
that's it.
He told the team, we have a lot to play for, and he addressed them in the team meeting with that statement.
That's what I say. Just be ready for anything.
Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron,
it's his
got
last
nothing
game.
to lose,
It's his
right?
last game, and we talked about this yesterday. It's a lot of those guys' last game there. You can't be paranoid about everything. It's only so much you can do on each play. And, of course, the more willy-nilly things gets on the commander's side, the more they take themselves out of the game itself. There has to be some structure to what they're doing, but just play within the structure of the game and beat those guys. Beat the man in front of you. That's what you do, because I think up and down the line, we are better than them. We're better individuals than they are as players, and a better team.
He might make his punter inactive. Just
Rivera
go for it every time.
That's one of the best weapons they have.
Their punter?
Tress Way, the former Oklahoma Soarer.
All right, Bill, go ahead.
All right, here's a little trivia question for you. So Ron Rivera has been there for 4 years. Okay. Who was the starting quarterback in his first game as Washington's head coach in 2020?
Wentz?
Wentz came the next year. Wentz was the starting quarterback for the other team in the first game. He was Philadelphia's starting quarterback. It was a Washington win over Philadelphia, 27-17, first game of the 2020 season. And Washington's starting quarterback was actually their first-round draft pick the year before, 15th overall selection in the draft.
2020.
Dwayne Haskins, the late Dwayne Haskins.
That's right. Wow.
So, I mean, if anything says more about, and think about Ron Rivera's career. When he was at Carolina as the head coach, he had Cam Newton. So here he had a quarterback who was, for 7 years, was king of the hill in the NFL, basically. Took and got to the Super Bowl in 2015, whatever year it was.
So are you minimizing Sam Howell?
Well, I'm just saying. No, I'm maximizing the quarterback position.
Yeah.
So contrast that to Mike McCarthy taking over in 2020, and who was his quarterback? Dak Prescott, and Dak is headed to his 3rd Pro Bowl and in the MVP conversation in the league. That position is so important in this league. And Washington thought they had it figured out when they drafted Dwayne Haskins in the first round with 15th overall in 2019.
They thought they had it figured out when they got RG3.
Right.
Well, and then they got Kirk Cousins in that same draft in the 4th round.
Right.
So you didn't think they were doing well with Carson?
But Carson was the next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
2021?
2021, Carson Wentz went to, and here's the deal. Washington has basically been, let me call them up here, they've basically been a 500 team. Outside of this year, they're 4-12.
Well, that's because of defense.
But they were 7-9 in 2020. And to your point, the defense, they were second in the league in total yards given up defensively that year.
That was a scary deal.
7-9.
That was a scary deal.
They lost to Tampa Bay in wild card game. Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. And then in 2021, they were 7-10, and they fell to 25th in the league in points allowed defense. Who was their quarterback then? It was Taylor Heineke for 16. He had 15 starts, and Garrett Gilbert and Ryan Fitzpatrick 1 start each. So Haskins was already gone just 2 years after he was drafted in the first round by Washington. And then in 2022, last year, you had they were back strong defensively, third in the league in total defense last year, but they were 24th in scoring offense last year, and their quarterback last year was Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke. They split it, and then Sam Howell got the last start of the year against the Cowboys.
So when's the last time they won the NFC East?
Well, let me go to
1983.
No, because they won it in. They won it in.
They won it in
2012.
Oh, Washington.
Yes, they well, no, they finished. Wait a second.
2012.
No, that's crazy. That 2020 season, they were.
That's what I was going to say. 2020. They
You
won
said 2012. Though.
No, but you said. You went past it, and I was saying before that it was 2012. They won it in
2020. They with a 7-9 record.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when we were the
In
NFC
2020.
least.
Yeah.
That's
right.
when we were
The
the NFC
COVID,
least.
the weird COVID
That's how
year.
we got the rep. That's why we got that.
Everybody had the losing record that year, right?
Yeah, and everyone thought we were going to be like this for a while.
And by the way, Haskins.
But the Cowboys only missed by what, 1 game? They went 6-10.
And by the way, here's what happened. That year, Haskins started that opener. He went 1-5 as the starter. Alex Smith was the starter for 6 games and went 5-1. Kyle Allen was mixed in there too. For 4 starts, he went 1-3. So, and then Alex Smith. That's the other thing. Alex Smith's injury.
That's what I was going to bring up earlier.
Is a huge factor in why Ron Rivera is where he is now.
That's correct.
So.
Quarterbacks.
You got to get that quarterback position right.
If he can't do that, I remember Larry Lacewell telling me, he goes, I can probably coach around any position. I cannot fudge the quarterback position. You are who you are at the quarterback position. He said defensively, I can come up with schemes and kind of cover up deficiencies on defense, on offense. You know, you can kind of coach around stuff. You can't coach around the quarterback.
So,
I
as it
kind of
relates,
disagree with that. It's kind of hard to coach around the sorry-ass secondary. Sorry, you can't coach around that.
Yeah, you just blitz all the time.
Right, yeah. They're going to get you eventually. I'm sorry.
So, to your point on them needing to lose this game on Sunday to have the second pick in the draft, there's your quarterback right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Sam Howell with his 20 touchdowns and 19 interceptions.
So we're saying Sam Howell is playing for his job?
Or a future backup job somewhere, right?
Yeah, if you have those many
That's true.
turnovers, then, yeah, you're looking at a backup job.
He also has been sacked
61
times. Bryce Young, 59 times. So.
Well, if I remember correctly, the 61 that you mentioned, when the Cowboys played him the first time, I think he was on pace for like 80.
I think we did. I remember us looking at that.
Well, that's what Rivera said in his press conference yesterday. We've only been sacked 3 times in the last 3 games.
See
so
there?
They're making great progress.
So just 19 more, and we'll hit that number, Mickey.
Before we move on, if you look at all the stats for the quarterbacks, I think I noticed that Dak Prescott has been hit more than any other quarterback in the top 10 as far as numbers are concerned.
Like quarterback pressures or quarterback hits?
Hits. He took actual
You know what?
hits.
I believe that.
Yeah, that's true. I was looking at that this past week.
Which is amazing if you look at his numbers, that they are what they are
That's
under
what I'm
the
saying.
pressure
That
he's been
that
under.
should add to his relevance in the MVP race.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So-
'Cause he's taking hits and he's still hanging in there, being as successful as he is with minimal turnovers.
So that kind of proves yesterday when I was talking to him and I said, I don't have a number on this, but it seems like these last several games that teams have blitzed you more than previously. He goes, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think they've realized the way to control the Cowboys' offense is to blitz the quarterback and make sure he's uncomfortable.
And yeah, plus it's easy because we're not running with the crap.
Right.
So that's an easy
They've got
call.
nothing to lose,
That's an
right?
easy call.
They're coming for Dak
They're
every
coming
time.
for Dak because that's what our strength is.
Okay, so how big is this for Washington? Right now, the draft order, okay, Chicago has the first pick. It's sealed. It's Carolina's pick. Chicago owns it. So they've got the first pick for sure. And they got a decision to make on their quarterback, whether to Justin Fields or draft.
What would you do?
I'm thinking I go for one of these quarterbacks, whichever one is I deem the best, and then trade Justin Fields someplace and get as much as you can for him.
I'd keep him.
Or you can keep him.
I'd keep him. I'd keep him and just surround him. You got to get a better offensive line, I think.
Oh, you keep him and draft someone or peddle the first pick in the draft. Is what you're saying. You're not saying draft a quarterback.
I'm not. I'm saying don't draft a quarterback.
Keep
if you're
Justin
going
Fields.
to draft someone, then it's going to be someone that can help him offensively. That's what I would say. And preferably, I don't know what his left tackle is like. Preferably a tackle. Yeah,
They need a wide receiver too. They got the one guy, right?
Mm-hmm. DJ Moore.
Moore.
Yeah. But they need more.
Yeah. They need more.
They need.
Thank you. There's a cow bite for you there, Douglas.
So right now, Washington, New England, and Arizona are all tied with 4 wins and 12 losses. But Washington right now has the tiebreaker as far as the draft goes to have the second pick. So if Washington wins and New England and Arizona win, then you got the Giants, the Chargers, and Tennessee all with 5 wins. Who knows how far Washington
drop
falls?
down to almost 10?
I mean, they could fall. I would think they could fall. For sure, they would fall to at least 4, and maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
They could fall all the way to 7.
So who are the teams?
Depending on tiebreakers.
Who are the teams behind Washington then?
You got New England.
New England.
Arizona.
Arizona doesn't need.
New England's playing the Jets. Arizona's playing Seattle.
The Panthers, right?
Gotta be.
What's that?
I'm trying to figure out.
Panthers have the first pick, but
Yeah, Panthers have the first.
No,
They
the
got traded
Chicago
away.
has the first.
But, well, yeah,
Right.
because of Chicago.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out who needs a quarterback the most.
Oh, okay. New England needs a quarterback. Arizona, Kyler's probably he's
there. They paid him.
Yeah, they paid him. And Giants with Daniel Jones but they haven't. But they could get out of that one.
We paid him. Damn. We paid him.
Chargers have a quarterback in Herbert.
They fooled us.
Tennessee drafted one in the second round in Levis. They could.
I'm looking for where the Bears could move down to if somebody wants the first pick in the draft to take a quarterback if they decide to keep Fields.
The Giants?
Giants for sure. They're in the
Giants are at
market.
5.
They're in the market. They're at 5 right now. Tennessee's in the market. They're at 7 right now.
So we're
The Jets are in the market. The Jets are in the market.
That's
Atlanta. The Jets are at 8. Atlanta's at 9.
So
and then
there's-
Chicago picks again at 10.
So the Bears have got some
Vegas,
trade partners.
Las Vegas is at 11.
So everybody
They're in
needs
the
a
market.
quarterback. That's why they're there.
Minnesota's at 12. They're in the market. New Orleans is at 13. They're in the market. Denver's at 14. They're in the market. Seattle's at 15. They're in the market. And then Cincinnati's at 16.
Seattle's got Drew Lock. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, literally, you can go down the
Drew Lock.
first 15
Wow.
teams in the draft.
Drew Lock.
He's on the.
That's why there are where there are, right?
The first 15 teams, you can make a case that 13 of them need quarterbacks.
If you listen to some Cowboy fans, then we're in the market too. So yeah, I'm not even thinking about it.
And then Pittsburgh's at 18, they're in the market. Okay. Tampa Bay's at 20, they're in the market. Everybody needs a quarterback.
So the Bears can get a haul for that first pick.
Mm-hmm. They got a lot of people that will be coming to their doorstep.
Yep.
All right. That does it for this edition
Draft
of Mick Shots.
A long time ago that did.
We've got a
We're ahead of schedule.
Fight Song Friday edition of Mick Shots staring at you tomorrow at high noon.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club. How about this, Cowboys?